Welcome, everybody. How's it going? It's your boy Bunny 3000. We are the Heat Magazine Geekswagg podcast. What the deal? What's up, people? Say hi to the people, Thickeh.
Hi to people, Thickeh.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Goodness alive. What is wrong with you? Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for being here. As always, as I said before, I am BJ Bunny 3000, along with my boy Jason, Dirty Helmato, aka Thickeh Nation, aka Necrolio, aka something else that I can't think of, but there's some other jokers in there too.
We don't want none.
Yeah, can't have none. As we are going to do our show today, as you can see here, we are going to have a bit of gameplay of the recent Gauntlet game that came out, I think, last year sometime. I took a chance on it. Actually, won't even say took a chance on it. I found a killer sale on Humble Bundle once again, where Gauntlet was on sale for like $5. So I was like, look, Gauntlet's worth $5. So as you can see, I went buck wild and had a blast with it. And say what?
I said most definitely Gauntlet is worth $5, even more.
So, and I was curious to see what they did different with, this new version or whatever. And you'll see me blast through each one of the different characters. The one thing I did know, and real quick before we even jump into everything, one thing that I did notice about Gauntlet that I thought was really good was, they of course stuck to their regular formula. You've got all the little monsters that come at you in different ways. They've got like the little summoning stones and summoning things or whatever that if you don't destroy them, then more monsters come out. You got to get the key. Death comes after you. Ghosts come after you and steal your health. And, it sits there and talks to you and says, oh, Thickeh needs food badly. It does all, it does all the stuff that you remember Gauntlet doing. And it added just enough that it didn't seem like it was trying to be something else. And, something else so that it actually felt like it was, a step up from the original Gauntlets, right? So, they didn't take the whole path of, you remember those other arcade games, like Dark Legacy and all that other kind of stuff, where it was like more 3D or whatever.
Yeah.
Those were fun, but, they were like, what, we're going back to classic view or classic perspective or classic gameplay of Gauntlet with this one. And, I think they did an excellent job with it. It's not like it's going to overtake Diablo or any of those other loot-based games or anything, but it's still definitely fun. They managed to figure out a way to put like levels and challenges and masteries in there, ways that you can get equipment and different weapons and armor without it being a loot-based, kind of Diablo clone or whatever. And they also made it a little bit different so that, each character has a multitude of attacks. They don't have just one attack. And what I thought was really interesting was the wizard is like mad difficult to use, but he's really powerful. So it's like each one of the little attacks that the wizard does, you have to queue it up as if you're looking through a spell book. You have to do like a two button queue in order to call up a certain spell before you can use it.
Okay.
So, like the regular fireball, it's his regular fireball. And then he's got like he's got like an ice ray. He's got like a blizzard frost kind of sling or whatever that has like limited range. He's got like a explosion fireball that he kind of lobs. He's got one where he like turns into like these two little fireballs that's like a dash attack so that he can escape stuff. He's also got like a shield that he can put over himself that, you know, repels anything that hits the shield. He's got a lightning bolt that does chain lightning. You know, he's got all these different attacks and everything. But in order for you to use them, you have to call up the spell first. So, you know, it's one of those things where it takes a little time to do or to queue up, or so you have to be very choosy about which one you use and the timing for it. And they all have really, really good uses for different situations that you have. Because, you know, they've got a lot of different little monster types and they attack in different ways. Some of them are fast, some of them are slow. And it just works. You know what I mean? It works really, really well. And I jump on in the morning before I go to work and play like one level before I go to work, like every day. You know, because it's that, you know, it's that simple and it's real quick or whatever.
Yeah, it looks almost like a Diablo bite, kind of.
Right. I mean, if you think about it, Diablo is a gauntlet bite.
Yep.
You know, but you know, like I said, they went back to their roots, and rather than, like you said, rather than making it a Diablo clone where everything that you kill drops loot and gold, they went all the way back to the original gauntlet. Your enemies, once you kill them, you just kill them, and you pick up gold, and by itself, and you pick up potions, and that's it. And then at the end of every level, you got the opportunity to use the gold that you found to buy equipment, whether it's like something that you can use your potion, because you remember how the potion would just be a magical attack?
Yeah.
Well, rather than a magical attack, they give you relics. And you can only only equip 2 relics at a time. And you can switch between which relic you want to activate, but you can't use the relic unless you have that magic potion. So, you know, each relic does something different. Like one summons this gargoyle that spits fire that the enemies go towards. Another one like makes your attacks and your running speed go a lot higher. You know, like another one is like a bomb that like pulls them all in and then freezes them. You know that each one of the relics does something different, and you can upgrade each relic if you have enough money each time. And then on top of that, they have equipment that each one of your characters uses, or can use rather, that you can upgrade. And I think you have to find it by beating certain chapters or something. I haven't gotten far enough to really figure that part of it out yet. But, you know, it's like they added just enough where it's not like Diablo and it's more like old school Gauntlet, except it's a little bit better. You know? So, I mean, you know, for like regular price is like right here is where it's showing the area where you can get the different relics, and then the loadout shows all the different equipment that you can buy for each character. And then the cape is something different. I haven't figured out what the capes do yet, but it is, you know, it's different. But for like $15, and that's like the full price. It's not a bad game because I mean there's a lot of levels. There's a lot you can do. It's online multiplayer. So you get on there and you want to play with other people in this game. You know what I mean? But just like the regular Gauntlet, you don't have to necessarily be, you know, extremely social when you play this game. You know, you can jump on and just play. And oh, hey, what's up, Constance? Sorry, I didn't get a chance to see you on there. I know Helmato was saying, hey, what's happening, Constance? How you doing?
Constance said, trying to play, can't figure out. So a little bit confusing.
Well, I'll put it to you this way, Constance. The biggest thing about Gauntlet is it's like an old school arcade game. You want to get as much gold as you can. So you find as much gold as you can, you know, which is kind of like getting the high score. And then you always make certain that you find keys and you find those potions. The potions activate your relics, and you can't get a relic until you buy a relic. And then your keys, you have to be very choosy about what doors you open and when, because there'll be certain situations where if you open too many doors, you'll have too many enemies coming after you. And then, of course, you don't want to destroy your food. Don't shoot so much that you shoot the food, because you can destroy the food, and your food is basically your health. So, I mean, the whole point of the game really is you're just supposed to destroy as much as you can and get as far as you can in the levels, because there's bosses at, certain intervals throughout the game. And, it's very, very simple. It's a very simple game. And like I was saying before, like you see there, that summoning stone that came up on the ground, anytime you see those, you want to do all the damage as quickly as you can to those, so that, you don't end up being overwhelmed by monsters quickly. So, I mean, it's, like you said, it's fun, and once you learn how to use a character, you almost don't want to use any of the other characters. And of course, just like in the arcade, if there is a Valkyrie, you can't have two Valkyries at a time. You have to use a different character. So, like, if you decide to get into a game and play in somebody else's game session, and they're playing the Valkyrie, and you want to play the Valkyrie, then you're not going to get to play the Valkyrie. You're going to have to play as a different character, which is actually pretty good, because each one of the characters are pretty well balanced. You know what I mean? They each have a specialty, but of course you have to learn how and when to use their attacks. Each one of the characters has a dash attack that does damage as well as gets you out of trouble, and each one of them has different attacks that take care of a crowd, and more powerful attacks that take care or do more damage to the summoning stones than just the regular attack. So it's like you said, it's fun. They added enough layers to it where it's just like the original, but just a bit different. Just enough difference that it's fun, But yes, I'll let that play or whatever as we go through our fantastic agenda that we always have here, and we never let the public know what the agenda is. It's always mysterious. You just gotta tune in and figure out what it's gonna be. So, Thickeh Nation.
Yes, sir.
Let the people know, man, what you've been doing this week. What you've been doing since the last we spizoke.
Just been messing around with Windows 10, really.
For a second there, I thought you were about to say messing around with women. I was like, oh, hey, dude, ain't that kind of show. It's not this kind of show, bro.
That's my other show. That's my other show.
No, that's your other show? Okay.
That's my other show.
Mm-hmm,
yeah, so, just going through some, things I like and I don't like about Windows 10, and, all
well, share with a brother. Come on, man. Don't be holding it in. Let it all out. This is your forum. You can let it all out. You can curse them out. You can send them love letters. I don't know. Maybe you love Microsoft.
I actually, I've been rocking Windows 10. I rocked the beta, messing around with that. Not until the full-blown version, I've actually put it on my gaming computer. I took a leap there. And surprisingly, it ran pretty well. With my games, actually, they seem a little snappier. With load times and stuff like that.
Nice choice of words.
Yeah, so it's nice little snappy action, man. You click on stuff, it actually opens. But it does have a couple of downsides, nothing horrific, but like the Cortana feature is actually pretty sweet. The voice recognition system is pretty good. I mean, you can ask it. I actually think it's better than what Siri does. Like sometimes you have to tell Siri things like 3 or 4 times, but Cortana gets it like the first time, almost all the time.
Oh, Siri.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's pretty good. And she don't sound like a robot either. So that's pretty cool. But the only thing with enabling Cortana, she does take a lot of personal data. So, for people that don't like that, they have some settings in there. You can look them up online on how to not have Cortana take so much info on you, because the next thing she's gonna tell you is stop wearing your skinny jeans.
Or Helmata, you're an asshole.
That's right. Too thick, son. So you got that's some of the things I guess that don't like. They have this other feature which is always on. It's with your Windows update. Basically, your computer's being used as a hub to push Windows updates out to other Windows 10 machines. So I don't know how much people like that, but they are using up your bandwidth. I don't know how much, but they said it's very little to allow, it acts like a BitTorrent kind of. So, you can turn that off too. These are features you can turn off. But besides that, man, it's like I said, the operating system loads pretty quick. They have a PIN feature for second layer authentication, which is pretty nice. As IT guys, we like that. So I've been trying that out, and I mean, so far so good. I mean, of course, there's a few things that you may hate. I mean, they did this with 8.1, but of course you can't play DVDs and stuff like that unless you buy a DVD player. What I mean, software player, because they were having problems with codecs and licensing. So I thought that was going to be one of the things they actually brought back, but they didn't. So guess what? No DVDs, but you can play straight up video. So if you want to rip your DVDs to your computer, you can go that route. It's up to you guys, but it's just a little disappointing. Some of the small little features that are there that are missing. But one awesome feature that I gotta say I was actually very, very surprised at was the new Xbox Smart Glass.
So what's different with it?
Well, it still has the same features as the old one. Of course, you can log in with your account. You can see your gamer scores. You can play video and stuff like that. But it has this new feature that allows you to connect over Wi-Fi, or of course through your LAN, and connect to your Xbox One. Now, for this feature to work, you're going to have to be in the instant on mode. So that's, I don't know if most people have it, but I have mine like that. So mine never really shuts down. So when you get in, there's a tab there that it's a connect button. And when you connect on this button, if your Xbox is on instant on mode, you can actually turn your Xbox on from there. And it launches up like a remote session to your Xbone, and it displays the screen right on your computer. And if you have a Xbox One controller, you just plug it into your Windows 10 machine, and you can actually play your games. And the refresh rate is surprisingly very good. It was pretty smooth. And you can turn your Xbox off or put it back into sleep mode at the same time too. So you get the same screens, everything that's there, but you're just not at your Xbox. You could be at your computer. You could be, it's probably for those people that are lazy. They play in their game and they want to go to the bathroom, and then they're in there for 2 hours. In their bathroom. But I have nothing but good things to say about that. That's actually very nice. So,
actually, Constance wanted to know if you knew anything about SteamOS, how it compares to Windows 10, or if there is a comparison between the two.
Well, I haven't used the SteamOS as of yet. I don't even know if I'm not sure if it's even available for download.
Oh yeah, it's been available for a while.
So, but what I do know about it, it's it's Unix based. It's a Unix based operating system. I'm sure it's not going to have the features that Windows does. Windows is a very complex operating system compared to stripped down operating systems that some Unix features have. But I mean, it has a lot of drivers for video cards. My rig, I have a slightly older video card. It's an NVIDIA 660, and it actually fine-tuned it for each one of my games automatically. So that, and that's without the NVIDIA driver.
Right.
So I mean, the Windows driver actually just got in there. It worked, and
optimized it and went on about his
optimize it.
business.
I mean, it's pretty slick. But I'm going to definitely get back to you on that, Constance, about the Steam OS. I am definitely looking into getting a Steam machine, and getting on that. I haven't quite bought one yet because I might get my ass kicked. I have too many toys in my house. I've got a PlayStation 3. Xbox 360. I got a gaming PC, PS4, Xbox One. If I come in with another piece of hardware anytime soon,
I'm gonna be happy.
Up. The jig's up.
That's right.
Well, I'm coming to live with you, son. So, yeah, I mean, nothing but good things. Like I said, they do have a few little quirky things there that people may not like, and of course, we're gonna find out as time goes on.
Right, because they're gonna change it. They're gonna add features to it. They're gonna do all kinds of stuff.
What's that?
I said they're gonna change it. They're gonna add features. They're gonna be patching it regularly. So it's always gonna be fluid.
I mean, this is supposed to be the system that's gonna last for 10 years. Hopefully, they're hoping for. So we're gonna see. But as far as I can tell, it's definitely, if you didn't like Windows 8.1, which I don't think most people did. I did read this weird article. This girl freaked me out. She's like, yeah, I uninstalled Windows 10 and went back to 8.1. I'm like, what?
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of shocking.
Well, what did they say? What was the reason they said, though?
You know what she complained about? And this was kind of shock. The start menu. The start menu is awesome. You know what? Basically, they
menu is like the same as like old XP, isn't it?
Well, yeah, sort of. What they did is they took the best of Windows 7 and XP, and they kind of put it together. So, like,
there was a best of Windows 7. I didn't know there was something good about Windows 7.
Well, Windows 7 is an awesome operating system.
I thought it was XP that was the one that was awesome.
Yeah, no, XP is off the plate, man. They discontinued that.
Oh, hell yeah, I know that.
So, but they fine tuned a lot of things there, and I thought it was pretty good. I was kind of shocked that she kind of went back to 8.1. I mean, 8.1 was just. Dude, man, it was horrific, man. It was just a cluster. I mean, I'm an IT guy, and I couldn't stand it. So,
well, see, that's my thing, because I mean, right now, my gaming laptop, it was one of those things because of the way it was built and everything, and what they wanted to do with it. The sale on it, it had Windows 8.1 on it. So I'm doing all the podcasting and everything on this gaming laptop as well, because honestly, it's like the only real laptop that I have that can do both.
Right.
And so I'm sitting here debating. I'm like, yo, should I go ahead and just update? Do the update, or do I just wait, or what? Because I don't want to necessarily have a problem with. What, XSplit or something like that, because I mean, XSplit hasn't
well, let's put it
anything.
This way: if there's a version for something that works on Windows 8.1, there's a very good chance it's going to work on Windows 10.
Right.
So unless you're using some real old legacy software that you had to hack to work with Windows 8.1, it's going to work. Okay. I mean, all my programs work. I had no problems with it.
Right. I mean, honestly, I haven't really had this laptop for that long anyway, so it's not like I can, say that I've been doing anything custom with it anyway.
Program that, like, you were using back from like 2000 or something, and you had to hack the registry to get it to work, and stuff like that. That's the only thing I could see possibly not working. But if you have something right now that's running on 8.1 or even Windows 7, there's a good chance you're not going to have an issue with it working on Windows 10.
Well, we're going to see, because of your suggestion, I'm gonna try it out and see whether I can upgrade.
I honestly think once you start using it, you're going to like it. Like I said, some of the stuff's a little blocky.
Right.
For novice users, things like finding the control panel might be a little bit of a pain in the ass.
Again.
Right, but like when you get into things, once you get used to their pin and their snap features and stuff like that, you'll be zipping through it, because it's the same. Like if you're pretty good with 8.1 and you like the pin features and the snap features, all those things are going to migrate over. The other thing is you can tie in your Hotmail account to it, which
Mhm.
you can do, and what it will do is it'll give you like a roaming profile. So like say if you have a couple of computers and you have some customizations on that machine,
Mhm.
if you log in to another machine with your live profile, Hotmail or Outlook profile, it'll carry those
All those profile settings and everything.
yeah, like those customized settings that you have over. So like I have two machines, I have like, certain screensavers and backgrounds and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Once I logged into those with my live account, boom, the same settings appeared up on those. I mean, little small things like that, I think it gives it, a nice little feel to it.
Hmm.
So this time around, I'm not hating on Bill Gates. Actually, pretty good job.
Hmm. Interesting. Well,
I,
Bill
I
Gates should give you a raise or something. Well, even though he's not even with Microsoft, he sold you sold me. I might take the plunge just to see what see what
yeah,
it's
if you
all
take the
about.
plunge, I mean, like I said, the only thing is check some of the stuff to make sure they're good for you. But I think through most of it, I think you'd be good.
We shall see, Thickeh Nation.
Yes, you shall.
We shall see. Windows 10, everybody. Windows 10. Hey!
Yay!
Windows 10.
Number one.
Yay!
Yay!
Hooray!
Now, if I can only get Cortana to come out of the computer.
Ew! Stop! Yeah, stop it. It's your computer love. Oh man, so let me ask you this question as we move along with our agenda size. Have you partaken of anything that Xbox has set up for their preview program as of yet?
No, I have not.
Not yet. Okay.
Not
So, I, on the other hand, have managed to go ahead and take the plunge on one game so far. It's weird because you know how they said that it's gonna be just like Steam has the little early access area, so that she'll be able to try out games for free. And then if you decide you want to you can buy the game and just play the game, continuously play the game until it's done, right?
Yeah.
So honestly, the one thing that I figured out was since they've made this preview program available, I never really recognized, number one, that it was available. So it was like if I didn't myself know from like listening to, reading other articles or whatever, I would have never known that Xbox had this program, right? So I went in and I knew that there was one game I wanted to try out called Elite Dangerous. Okay. So, I just went in and, checked out the game, and I went to the game and it had a little thing that says, free trial. And I was like, oh, cool, fine. And of course, in the description of the game, it talked about it being an incomplete game, that it was, the preview program and da-da-da-da-da. Me personally, I thought it was going to be something where you have like a application that says, hey, these are all of the preview games, the preview program games that, Xbox One has to offer or whatever. But I didn't really see that. So, I think there may actually be a preview dashboard app of some sort. But honestly, I tried to look for it and I couldn't find it. I think it's in there. But, I'm looking at like the Xbox.com, website or whatever, and it's saying that, the preview program actually has a preview application. That you go in there, it tells you, hey, this is, the preview program, these are the games that we have, go on, da-da-da-da-da. Because, the other game that I'm hot to trot for, that I really wish I had more time to play, and I've been trying to get you on also, was Ark Survival Evolved. because it's going to be released on the PS4 as well as the Xbox One when it releases. And I think recently they announced that it was going to be that Ark Survival Evolved was going to be a part of the preview program as well. So, and essentially just like on Steam, the whole concept is, they give you a little free trial. And again, I did a little free trial with Elite Dangerous, and it only lasts like a day. So you're allowed to play the game for a day. And then they have like a price where you can just buy the game as is, and then they'll continuously update the game as they continue to finish the game until the release. And then of course when it fully releases, you of course have the game when it fully releases. So I took a chance. So have you heard of Elite Dangerous before?
No, I have not heard of Elite Dangerous.
So, you know me. I love flight combat sims, right? So, games like X-Wing and TIE Fighter and what were all those other little Star Wars ones? Just
man.
Wing Commander.
Last time I picked one of those things up.
Well, yeah, that's what's so crazy about it. That genre of like flight combat sims, I don't want to necessarily say that it's dead, but there's like almost no games that come out in that genre on a regular basis.
I know. I mean, the Sims one were pretty good. The ones I used to like playing, I don't know if you remember this one, the Afterburner series.
Afterburner. Well, that wasn't really
combat. That was more of an arcade game.
Yeah, that was more of an arcade game because it was kind of third person. You saw.
But I hear what you're saying. I mean, like there are not that many sim games out there, which are fun. I mean, I like them realistic, but in some cases, like I get pissed off because like I'm tired of crashing into things.
Right, because it's so some of the sims they make it so complex and so realistic. Like you have to dock into the space station in order for you to end the mission. And I'm like, bump all that. Nobody wants to do all that kind of stupid stuff. Just tell me, hey, I'm going to the space station. I want to get out of my spaceship, and then I want to go to my next mission or whatever. So
right, I want to put that sucker on autopilot by the time when I'm here up the dock.
Thank you. Just use a little docking web. Use a little tractor beam, pull me in, and I'm good. That's all I want. So
believe it. Believe it.
So, like, in the last year or so, I don't want to say there's been an explosion, but at least in the PC world, there's been a couple of... what in the world did he say? Right, anyway. In the last year or two, there's been a couple of games that have gotten a whole lot of attention in terms of like the whole MMO kind of world or whatever, right? And I know Elite Dangerous isn't quite, I guess it's an MMO. I don't know. I haven't really played it enough, and I'm playing the preview, and I've heard about it for such a long time. And also, what is it? Star Citizen, which is made by the creator of Wing Commander, which has like millions and millions of dollars in fundage from Kickstarter and everything. For some reason, they're building that game as modules rather than as one complete massive exploration slash PvP slash PvE kind of MMO, right? So it's hard to say what Star Citizen is really going to end up being in the end because of they're still building and they're taking so long to make it. But those are like the two right now, the most popular space combat sims that are recent, that have come out in recent memory that I can think of, right? So right now I tried Elite Dangerous, and I didn't try it out on PC because I kept hearing people say that Elite Dangerous was boring. You know what I mean? They were like they were like there's a lot you can do in it, but like as someone that would watch it on Twitch or something like that, they were like the game is boring. So a few times I sat there and I watched a couple of people, and like one guy was mining something, and another guy was actually flying around trying to take out pirates or something like that, right? But the one thing that got me as I was watching the guy was he was flying around, but the targeting reticule, where you shoot and aim for lasers and stuff, it was moving all over the screen. So I was trying to figure out how the hell is he controlling how he's flying and what he's shooting at the same time. And a part of me was like, okay, maybe he's using the keyboard to maneuver with, and then the mouse to actually shoot with. And a part of me was like, dude, that kind of seems as if they're doing some kind of weird what was that movie, Last Starfighter kind of thing, where you got one person that flies and the other person that is like, shooting and using all the turrets and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So so it was confusing me.
Got your yeah, it's standard. I mean, that's how they fly fighter jets too. You got one guy who does
well, not all the time. You got, most of the time you'll have your pilot, and then you'll have your navigator, and your navigator they won't necessarily handle all the weaponry, but they'll handle like bombing, right, and some of the other advanced weapon systems. But the pilot themselves, they'll still handle the gun, and they'll still handle the air-to-air missiles or whatever, right? And but most of the time nowadays, even like F-18, you've got one pilot, and that one pilot handles everything, And so, I kept watching Elite Dangerous, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this little preview program thing, and I'm going to try it out myself. So, I pulled it down on the Xbox One and started playing. And, of course, the free trial only gives you access to all the tutorials. So, you learn how to make, you learn how to fly, you learn how to target your enemies, you learn how to use the different weapon systems, you learn how to dock, you learn how to go hyperspace and go from one place on the map to another, and all this other kind of stuff, right? And the one thing that I noticed was, at least the way that the Xbox One controller scheme is, when you use your thumbstick, your different thumbstick, your left thumbstick is the one that you use to do the actual flying. Your right thumbstick is the one you use to look around. Your right thumbstick isn't used to control the targeting. The targeting is done by the computer. So it's like if you target, if you use your targeting computer and you lock on to a ship that's like off in the distance or whatever, as it flies around, your guns track it. Which is to me is good and bad at the same time, because most of the time if you're playing, a flight combat sim, your targeting is dead ahead, so it's like you have to move and you have to do your flight. You have to fly just like you would any other fighter jet. You have to align that targeting reticule to where you're trying to shoot, whether it's your lasers or your ballistic weapons, right? And then of course with your missiles or whatever, your missiles can lock on, they can fire whenever. So it just kind of threw me. It was a little awkward that as you're flying around, your guns, they're tracking your target and they're shooting in different directions, almost like computer assisted turrets, almost like what is it, the Apache helicopter. Okay. And so like on the Apache helicopter, except it's a little different. On the Apache helicopter, the targeting is done through the viewfinder of the pilot's helmet. So as the pilot looks around, the gun on the Apache helicopter also moves, so that all he has to do is lock his sight on an enemy, and the target, and the gun itself will lock on to where he's looking towards, rather than him having to align the helicopter to whatever he wants to shoot. So it just kind of threw me, because in most, like Wing Commander or X-Wing or even Afterburner, you've got the little targeting, and the only way you can move the targeting is by actually moving the ship. And it felt like, in a sense, it almost felt like there wasn't that much skill to the shooting. The only real skill for the most part was just learning how to, I guess, dogfight, which is essentially just keeping your enemy in front of you. Because, you have to speed up, slow down, bank, turn, roll, and do all that other kind of stuff so you can keep your enemy in sight. But, the actual spaceship models were real not blocky, but they were very mundane. They were very generic looking. They weren't very exciting. And, it was okay, but it wasn't a very exciting experience for them to have just that little bit of tutorial gameplay to try to draw people into that game. And it still kind of makes me wonder, because like I said before, I was wondering about it on PC. Because I was like, yo, I want to play something like an updated Wing Commander, what is it, Privateer, or whatever, the one where it was just open world, fly around, do whatever you want, however you want, and you determine what kind of pilot you're going to be based off of, what ship that you buy. Whether
last Wing Commander I played I think it was on PS2.
What was that one?
There's the one with Mark Hamill in it.
Oh, yeah. Those were like the story-based ones that basically were like a Battlestar Galactica before the second TV show. Basically, it had a storyline, and you're on what was it, the Tiger Claw, the USS Tiger Claw or something like that. Yeah. And it's got all the different types of fighter ships and stuff that you can pilot in there and everything. And that's the way the regular Wing Commander games were. But they had like at least two or three other Wing Commander games that were PC only, I think. And one of them was called Privateer. And the whole concept of that was, it allowed you to be like a pirate or a lawman, or anything other than just the regular military, in that game. And it was open world, so you just kept playing. It didn't really necessarily have an end game. You just tried to get as much money as you could and get upgrade your ship, put new weapon systems and armor, or get a bigger or better ship, or a smaller and faster ship, that kind of thing. So it was a bit different, and it opened the door towards a kind of game kind of like Elite Dangerous or something like that. But the only problem with those Wing Commander games were what? They were single player. You only played them essentially by yourself. So that's why I was so hopeful for Elite Dangerous. I was like, yo, this is massively multiplayer, or whatever. And, this will be dope. But it wasn't. It wasn't dope. I was upset thinking it was not dope.
Sorry.
So, I don't know. I'm kind of sad about that. I was hoping something more along the lines of that one mod that they did for that game called Free Space 2. They had this really, really popular mod called Wing Commander Saga that everybody just loved because, it had so many different stories and stuff. And of course, with any mod, they have a lot of different missions and stuff you can play and everything. So I never got a chance to play Wing Commander Saga because it came out around a time when I didn't have a gaming PC. So I was like, yo, this is the one, Elite Dangerous, that's the one. And I'm like, no, it's not. And I don't, and it makes me kind of scared. I don't know if I want to take a chance on investing money on, what is it, Star Citizen right now, because it's not released. It hasn't been released in like 2 years. And they're still developing it. And they still only have like little modules or whatever, rather than a full game where you just say, hey, I want to play. Give me a spaceship, let me shoot Thickeh. And, you can't do that right now.
Why can't you shoot somebody else? Why can't you shoot Makita?
I don't want to shoot Makita. She don't want to fly. But you do. It's no fun. The homies can't have none, homie. But, I don't know. It's one of those things. I guess that's kind of why I'm kind of drawn to, like, Mech Warrior and stuff like that. Because it's like a combat sim, even though it's like mechs. And it just kind of reminds me of those old PC games that were all combat sims and stuff. And I play the crap out of that game, but I have the need for speed, Thickeh. I want to fly. I wants to fly, and I can't.
Ooh, Afterburner. Oh, that'll satisfy all your needs right there. You probably get that on your phone. Go crazy.
I don't want it on my phone, man. If I'm gonna play a combat sim, I want a flight stick. What am I gonna do with a flight stick in my phone? What's wrong with you? Oh man. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, there is a ton of news going on this week. If you don't know, where is it? In Germany right now? There is another gaming convention going on. It's a pretty big one because it is essentially the E3 of Europe, I guess. Is that what they consider it? Do they consider it that? I guess so. And Gamescom began today, I think, right?
Yes, it did. Microsoft. I saw some of Microsoft stuff that they had there.
Yes.
I didn't catch it fully, but it didn't seem like anything too new.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily anything major, but here's the short and skinny for those who haven't heard yet. During the conference that Microsoft had, they showed some gameplay or a trailer for a game called Homefront Revolution, which is due holiday 2016. And I didn't necessarily look into it that much because honestly, the first Homefront really wasn't that groundbreaking. It was kind of like it was kind of like playing another Call of Duty or a Battlefield game, and it didn't really set itself apart from any of those games. And I was reading through a site called GamesRadarPlus.com, and they kind of looked at it and saw that the way that they were making this game was kind of more like a military style Dying Light. So rather than running around shooting rather than running around and kicking and punching and shooting zombies, it's kind of like the whole parkour style, run around everywhere very quickly and shoot other people or other personnel. So that at least sounds interesting, but it's not even due until next holiday season in 2016. Then they also got into a little bit more news. They dropped a date for Xbox One's backwards compatibility, which is now scheduled for full-fledged release in November.
Yes, it is.
And they said that it essentially will, to start off, it'll have off the top all the games that they've identified as free games with the Games with Gold program. For the Xbox 360, they will be available and backwards compatible. And also, they said that Square Enix, Bethesda, Bandai Namco, and Warner Brothers have all signed up for backwards compatibility. Now, that to me sounds like a blanket statement. I don't know if that means all of their gaming library that they published under those publisher names will be available, or if they just said, hey, we have games that will be available. You know what I mean? I don't know what it means by signed up.
I just think they don't have, they don't have any definitive stuff yet. Sorry, let me backtrack. I think they have definitive stuff.
Yeah, they said they're going to have like 100 games to start, right, and then they're going to release more on a monthly basis.
But, that's why I think they blanket some of the stuff.
Yeah, because it's kind of weird. The whole... Like, I kept seeing articles recently for, Gears of War, and they were saying, hey, the new Gears of War, when it releases, the Ultimate Bundle, or whatever it's called, the Ultimate Xbox One bundle is going to come with all of the previous Gears of War games through this backwards compatibility thing or whatever.
Right.
So, in my mind that says, hey, okay, you get Xbox One, you get the Gears of War thing, then it's going to be... You remember how they had the Xbox Live Arcade where they had just the digital versions of some of the 360 games or whatever. It seems to me like that's what they're going to do. They're going to unlock the availability of those 360 games, digitally on the Xbox One's little store or whatever if you buy the whole Ultimate Edition Gears of War collection or whatever.
I haven't looked at the list, but some of the games on there you probably won't even care about.
Well, I mean, for some people, it's in my mind, it kind of makes sense the way that they're doing it because they're saying that all those games that you've been getting on Games with Gold, they're going to make available on the Xbox One. So, you know, in a sense that makes it good just from the whole perspective of people. Hey, when you buy your new shiny new Xbox One now, you have more of a more incentive
to actually play stuff. You don't have to spend, after you already drop, I don't know, whatever, say
$400 or something like that. You don't have to spend another $200 on
just
games.
To play one game. We're gonna have a game library ready for you.
Right.
Already.
Right. So, it just makes it that much more appealing when you get your shiny new Xbox One. So, in that sense, it's
hard drive
helpful.
Isn't a bad thing either.
Right. Yeah, and the whole terabyte hard drive is.
I'm actually hating on them for releasing that so soon.
Well, you knew it was going to happen.
I know, man, but it's kind of a slap in the face,
They always going to slap you, Thickeh. You know this, man. It's a money grab.
You know what? You know what they should do? They should make me trade in my 500 giger, and then I could pick another one up for $50.
Well, you're not worried too much about getting another Xbox One with a bigger hard drive because you can use external drives, so it's not really that big.
You know what? I see, and that's where my techie part comes in.
Mm-hmm.
I know how fast a SATA drive runs.
Right.
And I know how fast a USB drive runs.
True.
So that's my problem.
True. That's very true.
You know what I'm saying? So like when you're dealing with lower end games, it's not a problem. But like, say if you try to load Witcher 3 or like Dragon Age or one of them big like NBA or something on an external hard drive, you may run into a little lag here and there.
Mm-hmm. That's true
because you're going through a USB 3, which isn't bad. It's still pretty good, but you may want the bigger.
It's not the new hotness,
right? You may want the bigger, more beefier games on your internal hard drive, and then copy off or move around some files. I don't like doing that. Just give me a big freaking hard drive and let me just go to town.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Big freaking hard drive.
Say word, son. That's what I like about my PS4. That's the first thing I did. I updated my drive.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I have actually now some games that I probably wanted to buy on the Xbox I buy on PS4 because I have a lot more space on the internal drive.
Right.
To do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, damn you, Microsoft.
New hotness. New hotness, baby.
That's right. We want it all. I want mine decked out. Actually, you know what we should do? We should get a Geekswagg Xbox One. That's what we should do.
Say word. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, they also had additional stuff, such as they announced Halo Wars 2 is coming for the strategy buffs that liked Halo Wars. Just like Jason said a little while ago, they've got their new little Halo 5 bundle that'll be coming out. With a 1 terabyte drive.
Hard drive.
Yeah.
Halo decals.
Oh yeah, nice and shiny. Shiny, new hotness.
I want it.
Yep. And of course they had more gameplay of Halo 5, and from my understanding, the way that they kind of presented it was, it wasn't like, hey, this is Halo 5 gameplay. It was more like, hey, here's 2 gaming announcers along with 2 professional teams going on a new multiplayer, capture the flag event or whatever. I love
that segment. They tried really hard selling it. So.
Right. And essentially the way everyone was talking, they were like, look, the way 343 is kind of pushing this is that they want this to be an esport. They want this to be an esport game, that is played and I guess will continue to be played in esport tournaments and events, for years to come. So They look like they're trying to do a little bit something with it. I mean, they already sold me. They ain't got to do a whole
I
lot
think
more.
they will, though.
But you know, it's
Yeah, I think it will.
yeah. I mean, it's 343. They've done good by the last one that they released. They had enough innovation in that to the point where people were happy with it. So I don't think this one's going to be bad or anything wrong with it. So I think they're well on their way. We will see when the finished product is here in how many months we got?
What, like 2.5?
3? Yeah, like 2.5. 2.5. So yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. That, like you said before on last show, I got to save up now for all the games coming around.
Oh my god!
Big part of November.
It's ridiculous.
Because I'm gonna be broke. I'm gonna have to be out on the corner.
Hey, word. Then they had a trailer for Scalebound, which actually was, I think they had presented that at E3 or said something about it. No, they didn't say anything about it at E3. They said something about it earlier or something like that, and hadn't heard much about it. But it's set for holiday release 2016, and it's like an open world RPG where you have essentially a pet dragon running around with you, and a big pet dragon, not like a little baby dragon or anything like that. I mean, a big pet dragon. 4-player co-op, big bosses. So it's an interesting exclusive that Xbox has there. Crackdown, which we saw very little of at E3. It was just a little small trailer where you basically saw them blow up buildings. So everybody was like, "Oh, okay, you get to blow up a building." Not quite. They did a slightly more involved, I guess, a slightly more involved trailer that explained what makes this Crackdown different from the other Crackdown. And basically what they said was there's 100% destructibility. Everything on the map can be blown to smithereens. So all the big tower-looking skyscrapers and everything, basically they showed towers being destroyed, corners being blown off buildings, buildings falling into other buildings and breaking other buildings, bridges being blown to pieces, transforming cars, all kinds of mega powerful weapons, third person view kind of shooter-esque stuff. Just all kinds of explosions all over the place and a black dude running around. So, when I was looking at it, the first thing that came to my mind was Red Faction Guerrilla, which was, one of those games that I loved, that basically allows you to destroy everything. Any structure that was in the game, you could destroy it. But of course, the 360 doesn't have the computing power to be able to give you an entire city and destroy that entire city, as well as vehicles and people and multiple people and being online all at the same time. And apparently the whole I guess whoop-de-doo about Crackdown is supposed to be it uses a lot more of the whole cloud computing feature in order to pull off all this destructibility and everything in this game. So it'll be interesting to see how this develops, and how, as they start showing more about the game, what actual features and stuff. Because I think right now they're at early alpha stage of this game, so it'll be a while before they release this one. I'm thinking it'll probably end up being around the same time as Scalebound, like next year holiday season probably. Then they also spoke a little bit about Killer Instinct, which seems to be gaining steam as they continue to release, new fighters and everything. They said the next season, I think, is supposed to start next year, I think. And they released a new character, which is a Battletoad. So, all of the...
That.
Say what?
I want that.
Yeah, I mean, Battletoads was a cool game. So, the whole big fists and big, huge feet and everything every time they punched and kicked something in the game. Then you can do that in Killer Instinct. So, that'll be interesting to see how many fighters decide to use the Battletoad in Killer Instinct and how badass he is. I don't know. Also, the one game that we basically saw when the Xbox One released and basically never saw again, Quantum Break. They actually showed a bit of gameplay and they gave an actual release date for this dang game for a change. Of course, it still looks beautiful, ridiculously beautiful. It looks very, very complex story-wise, so it's one of those where I'm looking at through very, 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 very squinted eyes. I'm like, I don't know. But they dropped a release date of April 5th, 2016, which is good to know. Yep. Then just on the heels of a lot of those announcements in through the whole Xbox presentation, there was a bit of other news that kind of came out. I guess that's kind of in line with Gamescom. I know that World of Warcraft, apparently their expansion is going to get a lot of news later on this week. There was a bit of news about Destiny's The Taken King. They keep releasing news about it. They're finally getting rid of that stupid light leveling system. So that now you can level up your character without having to worry about finding equipment in order to level your character up. They're, of course, Taken King, the new area that you're going to have to adventure in, is essentially this massive spaceship or whatever that they call a dreadnought. So that the people that are the Taken or whatever, it's like a derelict spacecraft. So you go to the dreadnought in order to figure out what happened, I guess. They're adding a ton of new weapons, another big raid. And what else they say they were adding? Essentially new weapons. Oh, and they also said, and this is a weird move, they're getting rid of Peter Dinklage's voice.
Really?
Yeah, for the little ghost or the little robot that was adventuring around with you. They're completely redubbing all of his lines. And the guy that does the Uncharted series is the guy that's redoing all the lines.
What, Nathan Drake?
Yes. Which is weird. I guess Peter Dinklage got tired of people calling it the Dinklebot and was like, look, I don't want to have anything to do with y'all. They keep making fun of me. So, I don't know what the deal was with that. But, they are apparently, people have said that the ghost or whatever, they're saying less and less in the recent updates, and that's because they're redubbing everything. So before you know it, Nathan Drake is going to be in your Destiny game. Destiny. And also there was a little bit of news about Battlefield Hardline, their new DLC or expansion that's getting ready to come out. Their new mode or whatever that they're releasing is called Robbery, which is a different take on the heist mode that they had. And did you ever play? You played the heist mode, right? Hello. And of course, I think Jason is Stizak. Oh no, Thickeh Nation, where'd you go? Oh, there he goes. Yay!
Hey, I'm back.
I think he's back. Yay, I think he's black.
I'm something. I'm back.
Oh man. So yeah, let's see, I need to put a different thing up here for us. Spooky shots. Oh, there we go. Let me mute that as well. So the thing was, the new Battlefield Hardline expansion is supposed to be a different take on heist, on the whole heist mode, right? You know how on heist mode they basically had everything in a little small map, and you basically got in the vault, took the stuff, and then left all on the same map, right?
Right.
So what they decided to do was, rather than have the heist in that one map that never changes, they wanted to make that heist more like, you remember the rush mode in
Yeah.
Battlefield 4? So
Yep.
that every time you completed something, it opened up a whole new area of the map. So that's essentially the way that they're going to build, that they apparently have built this new robbery objective. So instead of the heist just occurring over one small map, it's occurring over a much larger map that continues to open up as you go through and do particular objectives.
Right.
Which means they're going to have new maps, they'll have new weapons, new vehicles, vehicle upgrades, new gadgets like a drill and some other stuff that help you pull off the different robberies and such. And something that they haven't explained yet that they just call a legendary super feature. So I have no clue. Nobody knows right now, of course, except the developers know what that legendary super feature is going to be. But apparently it's coming soon. So keep your eye.
Theater near you.
Yes. Keep your ears, to the ground so that you can, if you have hardline and are interested in more robbery kind of expansion stuff. Shoot 'em up stuff. I don't know. I'm considering it because now GameFly has it like on sale for like $16, so I might get it.
Yeah, I got it. I got it when it was $30, and like I said, the single player is fun. They got conquest, but it's just when you get to the smaller maps, it's just kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's like yeah.
Yeah, it's
like running NASCAR and like.
Yeah, it's not. It just takes away from it. But
yeah.
That's why I've been firing Battlefield 4 back up on the PC, trying to level my guy up there, and that is Battlefield 4 was just so much fun. So.
Yes.
That's actually what Battlefield is all about.
That's what it's all about. And the last little bit of news that I had, there were a few new releases to speak of today. Let's see. One in particular that was a indie game of note that I was a little bit excited about. I'm still not certain whether or not I'm going to partake yet. But it's a game called Galac Z. So for those of you who are Robotech fans, apparently this is like an old school kind of 2D shooter that has a lot of enemies and a lot of weaponry similar to the old school Robotech cartoon and everything. So I've heard some decent reviews. Nobody's been blown away by it, of course, but some decent reviews about it. So I'm hoping that it ends up being one of those humble bundle games that comes out and is mad cheap that I can just get it. Right now, I think it's only released on the PS4, but I think it's in the future it's going to be released for PS4. I mean PS Vita, as well as the PC. So be on the lookout for that. So let's see what is this week is. Oh, and also for those of you who were hot trot for it, Rare Replay dropped today for $30 or something like that. So all you retro gamers out there that want it on your consoles, that is out today. And also, I think next week, games of note that will be coming out are Goat Simulator. For some reason, there's a lot of people interested in that.
I always see that people. I don't know if that game is the best. I keep seeing it.
It's just hilarious. I think that's the reason why people like it. It's like the craziest concept, and all of a sudden it just became a thing.
Right.
And Toy Soldiers War Chests. So for those of you who want to play as He-Man and G.I. Joe and Assassin's Creed and stuff, as toy soldiers running around shooting and blowing up stuff, Your wish is their command, apparently. So next
Oh
week,
yeah.
next week you can play said games. And also next week that I'm actually excited about on my little Samsung phone, Fallout Shelter will be coming out, because I've heard a lot of people on their little iPhones have been having a blast with Fallout Shelter. So that will be out on Android next week. And let's see here. What was that other game that I really wanted to try out? One other game. Have you heard? Well, I'm sure. I don't know if you've heard about this game, but there's one game that has really taken off since it came out. Have you heard of Rocket League?
No, what's that about?
It was actually a game that they featured, I want to say, at E3, and it blew a lot of people's minds when they played it. It is a very, very simple concept. They basically have little cars, kind of almost as if they have little micro machines, little remote control cars or whatever, and you use them to play soccer with it.
Oh yeah. You know what? I actually did see that game. It's on PSN.
Yes, I think they had it for free.
Yeah, they had it for free
for a little while.
Yeah, actually, they just removed it off, and I kept looking at it, and I'm like, this game must be stupid.
No, dude, this game,
and I didn't get it.
This game, they had. I don't want to say it had record numbers, but they said they had huge numbers of people playing and downloading this game just on the PS4 alone. I mean, a lot of people had bought it on PC, but people are going bonkers on this game now. Of course it's soccer, because I mean, people love soccer, but they're finding that there's so many intricacies into how you utilize the different cars. Each one of them are different size, different speeds. You can customize all the different cars and stuff like that. And it's turning out to be one of those that a lot of people are playing and having a lot of fun with. So don't be surprised if you run around and all of a sudden you see a bunch of people playing it at like Comic-Con, or that they have like a huge booth where all they do is play Rocket League or something like that, because it's tearing up the spot. And I mean, it's a little simple indie game too. It's not like it's a full-fledged $60 game or anything.
Right. Yeah, well, yeah, like I said, when I saw it there, I kept skipping it. It was there for like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And I just, sometimes you download games and then you get mad and then you uninstall them because they sucked. That's what happened. They had this other game there. I forgot what the hell the name of it was, but you're this little gargoyle.
Oh no! Sorry.
You have this little gargoyle, and you're running through a castle, doing all these stealth stuff. I forgot the name of the game.
Stealth stuff with a gargoyle.
Yeah, well, it's like a gargoyle-looking thing. It's freaking ugly, and you're in this castle, and you're supposed to be freeing your cousin. I don't know. And it was just really, and and then sometimes you're like, okay, now I understand why this game is on PSN for free. Because it sucks. So
tell me how you really feel about it, Thickeh.
You know what? I get mad because like these games are not small. This game's like 10 gigs, and you wait, you do time to play, and you're like, all right, let me check this out. And even when games are free and you waste your time on it, you feel ripped.
Yeah, because you took the time to download it.
Right.
Do the tutorial and then get into it, and you start doing it, and you're like, damn, I wasted like 2-3 hours playing this little free game.
Right, and it's just like, oh, boo, I can't believe I did that. That's kind of the way I felt a little bit. At least they didn't take my money, but they still got me for some download time.
Ugh. I feel for you, Thickeh. I would shed a tear, but I'm laughing at you, fool. In your
Well, you
face.
know what I did?
What'd you
After
do?
I spent an hour and a half downloading it, I deleted it within like 30 minutes because I didn't
Nice.
want it taking up space on my
On your
PS4.
precious hard drive.
That's right. That's right.
Oh. Oh
So
well.
that's kind of why I kind of looked at that one. I was like, meh.
Meh. Hated it.
Right before I even checked it out.
Hmm.
So, shame on me.
Yep, that's what I say all the time.
Shame on me. I should have got it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yes, I am. I don't know, man. I'm at a crossroads right now because, as you very well know, there are like a ton of new games coming up very, very, very soon.
Very soon, got another couple months, and it's going to be back to the
Yeah,
cave.
yeah, and I'm having problems deciding what to get and what not to get. Right? So we gonna do this little quick little game here where we're gonna see like a group of a few games that come out like in the first half of the next couple of months, and we're gonna see what Thickeh Nation would get one out of the group, and then what game I would get, and just kind of see what we end up getting out of the group of games that are coming out soon. So we will start with, I guess, the second half of August. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a list of games, and you can only choose one, but you have to choose one. Can't just say,
Okay.
oh no. So you just have to choose one. This is your choice for the second half of August. So for each little portion of the month. Okay.
Do it.
All
Let's
right.
go.
So August, we got Final Fantasy Type 0 HD, Zombie, which is basically the new version of Zombie U, only is coming to PS4, Xbox One. Let's see, Dishonored Definitive Edition, Gears of War Ultimate Edition, Madden NFL 16, Until Dawn, Disney Infinity 3.0, and Resident Evil Revelations 2 for PS Vita. And I guess that's probably enough. So pick one game out of that group.
Woo, okay. If I was to go with anything that I would, and this is a game I am probably getting.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably have to go with Until Dawn.
Until Dawn. Interesting.
Yes.
What is that?
It's what it's supposed to be like. Have you ever played Heavy Rain?
That's one of those games I've got on my shelf that I look at and say, "Oh, that's pretty." Okay, let me play. Let me play Battlefield real quick.
It's not gonna be quite like that, but it's gonna be in the area.
Right. So it's more of a, I
More
guess
of
you
a
could say,
movie.
more of a
Oh.
narrative-based kind of game,
Yeah.
where it's very heavy on the adventure and story and plot rather than the
Right.
actual.
Probably a lot of one button pushes, like, oh, you're falling off the cliff, hit X quick.
Damn you! Reload.
Exactly. So, when something happened a little too fast because you got caught up with the story. Yeah.
Okay. Me personally, I think I probably would get Gears of War Ultimate Edition, just for the mere fact that I get all of the old ones, and I think I only have like one of the old ones left over because I like resold all of them. So
Okay.
just for them, just for the sake of having all of them and having the shiny.
And that's
new
something I'm
hotness.
planning to get to. So,
Yeah.
I think I was going to do the same thing, just to have them all. I mean, I still have them. Let me see. I still have Gears of War 3 somewhere, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the one I have because I didn't get Judgment Day and.
No, I
got rid of
see
two.
the
I
ones
got rid of
without
the first one.
Phoenix in it. I skipped them.
Yeah. Okay. So that is August. If Psalm gets Until Dawn, I get Gears World Ultimato Tomato Edition. All right, first half of September, we have Mad Max, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, Broken Sword 5: The Serpent's Curse, Sword Coast Legends, Super Mario Maker, Forza Motorsport, Mighty Number 9, Pro Evolution Soccer 2016. And all of those are essentially in the first half of September. So what is your choice? God,
I mean, I think I'm going to have to go with that soccer game, which I am kidding. No, I'm going with Metal Gear. That's
Metal Gear, yes. The Phantom Pisnane. I want that so bad. Oh my god.
yes.
Oh
Metal
my
Gear.
god.
I'll be Metal Gearing it up, son. That's why I'm hiding
let's
out
see.
probably a couple weeks.
Yeah, and I'm kind of at odds with this particular month. But me personally, I think I'm probably gonna go with Sword Coast Legends. Just because you know me, I'm a big role playing game fan. Yeah, no, it's not hack and slash. It's no, it's basically like and I don't know if you ever played
Dynasty Warriors?
No, would you shut up, girl? Damn, I hate you. Did you ever play not the console version Baldur's Gate, but the PC version Baldur's Gate?
No, I haven't played the PC version.
Or Icewind Dale. Oh, okay. Because their perspective was more like it was more like an isometric overhead view. You know, you click on an area and your party moves in that area. You click on an enemy and your party attacks that enemy, kind of RPG.
Gotcha.
You had, you had, I guess you could say, control over like the inventory and all the stuff, and you could actually control each one of the members of your party, but you could only do it in real time. It wasn't turn-based, it was real time. So if you wanted your fighter to attack a guy and your mage to do this spell, you had to do it yourself, and you had to do it quickly. But the computer always had like AI that would govern each one of the characters, almost in a sense kind of like the way Dragon Age does it, except the actual combat itself is simplified. It's more like you played the old Star Wars games that BioWare did, right?
Some of them I
Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. That's kind of like the RPG style where you like kind of cue what actions for him to do to attack so and so, and you position them where you want to position, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But the way this particular one is set up is they actually have almost like an in-game mod portion of the game where it really kind of where it allows you to be what Dungeons and Dragons calls a dungeon master. So you can actually have someone online that takes control of the I guess the mission or the adventure, and that dungeon master can actually put enemies and loot and other kinds of things, and change the map around as you're playing. So it's trying to make the whole pen and paper Dungeons and Dragons game digital, so that you can make your own adventures, play your own adventures in real time, and have a dungeon master that's able to control what you actually encounter or what you actually do. So that would probably be the game that I would choose for the first half of September. Oh goodness, Insane and Membrane is going bizonkers. Goodness alive.
Well, as long as he's happy.
Yeah, basically. Let's see, the second half of September. Let me see if I can give you a difficult list of games here. Skylander Superchargers, Blood Bowl 2, FIFA 16, Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. That's the one you gonna get. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, NBA Live 16, NBA 2K 16, Fallout Anthology, Lego Dimensions, Samurai Warriors 4-2, Persona 4 Dancing All Night, Adrift, NHL 16, and Might and Magic Heroes 7. So what would you
Were you about to
choose
say Magic Mike?
Yeah, Magic Mike Heroes 7, baby.
That's right, pull out your penis. Let's see. You know what I'm already getting. I'm going to give you 3 guesses, but you're going to only need 1.
NBA 216!
That's right, son. That'll be clickety clacking. Yeah, it was a toss-up between that and Samurai Warriors.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. Yeah, that'd probably be what I'd choose as well.
No Samurai for you? I thought you were going to go with Samurai.
No, I've already got Samurai Warriors 4, the first one, and I don't get a chance to play it very much because I don't pull out my PS3 that often. Okay. Because because the way I have it set up is so that I can stream off of it, and because of the way the connection is, the only way I can play it is if I connect it to the video capture device and then use the USB, and then I have to switch all the it's like I have to go through a whole lot in order to connect it up right now the way I have it set up. So it's just annoying. So most times I don't pull out my PS3 anymore.
Yeah, you look at it like,
yeah, and it's bad because the other one that I want to play that I should be playing is my Rocksmith. I actually was buying music for me to actually learn how to play on Rocksmith 2014 that I have. With my actual real guitar that I should be learning how to play, but I'm too lazy to pull out and learn how to play.
No, it's all good.
That's my excuse.
There you go.
Beginning of October. We are getting into the thick of things. Beginning of October. Here is the list, Thickeh Nation. Hunker down, bro. Hunker down. Okay.
I know. All right.
Lost Horizon 2. I have no idea what that is. Rock Band 4. Uncharted: The Nathan Drake Collection. Dragon Quest Heroes. The World's Tree Woe and the Blight Below. Rodea: The Sky Soldier. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. The Talos Principle Deluxe Edition. I don't know what that is. Wasteland 2. Tales of Zestiria. I'm certain that's anime. And I guess that's good for the first half of the month. So what would you choose out of that group?
There's 2.
Nope, only 1. You can only choose 1. There can be but 1. 1.
I think I'd probably have more fun playing Rainbow Six.
Rainbow Six Siege. Interesting choice.
Yeah. I think that's what I would have more fun playing.
For me, this one's easy. I'd take Rock Band 4.
I wanted Rock Band 4.
But you didn't take it. In your face.
I didn't take it, but I thought I would probably have more fun playing. I'm gonna get probably both, but just for
you alive, Thickeh. You know that me and you have knockdown, drag out, good old time. If you had a brand new drum set, and we were rocking out on some rock.
Crazy.
We go bonkers. Okay, second half of October is starting to get thick. Thickeh. Starting to get thick, Thickeh. All right. Dragon Ball Z Extreme Butoden. Extreme Booty. Guitar Hero Live. Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Halo 5 Guardians. WWE 216. 2K16. Cobalt's Earthlock Festival of Magic. Just Dance 2016. WRC5, which I think is a racing game. And Prison Architect. What do you choose, good sir?
I thought Fallout was going to be in that.
Ooh, yeah, this list doesn't have Fallout someplace. Fallout somewhere.
Fallout was there. Could be wrong.
Let me look that up real quick.